been on the beach for about 30 years, and I own businesses on Washington Avenue for about 20 years, and been a long-time beach resident. What do I think about Airbnb and home sharing platforms? Boy, that's a great question. I think the whole world has changed dramatically with all the ride sharing and the home sharing. I'm a big proponent. I use it all the time. I've used it in China, Argentina, Portugal, last week in San Francisco, in Carmel, California, beautiful areas that, actually their homes are probably 10 times the value in Pebble Beach and Carmel that they are here. So I think it's great. I think the world has changed, and people are no longer really interested in hotel type lifestyle as they were back in the day. The generations have changed, time has changed, and a lot more creative ways have come to doing business. So I love them. I think they're great. It really disturbs me tremendously. I do not think it's reasonable that as a taxpayer I pay the astronomical amount of taxes that we do here on the beach, and that my rights are taken away. I feel strongly that there are ways and mechanisms to manage a procedure in which we are responsible as homeowners to make sure that people follow rules and abide by the laws within the city and conduct themselves in a proper way. But I do not feel that it is legitimate, fair, right, constitutional in any way, shape, or form that I should lose my rights to rent my house or do whatever I want. For so long as I am not creating a nuisance or doing something that would be outlandish, no, I think the responsibility should be mine to police my own property. And if I fail to do so, then I should be responsible, but I should not lose my rights. How do I feel about what other cities have done regarding short-term rentals? I think it's been a really smart thing that, Fort Lauderdale has instituted a specific criteria of rules about how they manage the short-term rental business and the platforms. I know that Airbnb has done a great job of collecting the resort taxes and such, and sales tax for the Department of Revenue. So I think it's awesome. I know that Fort Myers has done the same thing, and they've even taken it one step further, where they have put a point of contact to manage any type of emergency or thing in the event somebody was doing something that they shouldn't be doing, that they can call that emergency contact person, which is available 24 hours a day. So I think it's great, and they've done a good job, much better than saying you cannot do what you want. I think that's crazy. So my recommendation to the city to manage this in a sustainable and balanced fashion would be, again, to put the responsibility on the owner, meaning that if I want to rent my property and I decide that you are the tenant, you come to me and you say, hey Gil, I want to rent your property. I say, okay, no problem. There is a code violation fee, let's call it $1,000 a day. I will then tack that onto your rental fee. So let's say, for example, the weekly rental fee is $5,000, and for the 5 days that you would be in my property, I would collect an additional $5,000 in deposit from you to cover any potential code violation. And in the event that code were to come, and I highly doubt it, because when you take monies in the form of a deposit and you tell the people up front, if you break the rule, you're going to pay and it's going to hurt your pocket, people's behavior is curtailed by money and by the hurting of their pocketbook. Mm-hmm. So I think that that would be the right way to manage it. And then in the event that they did something wrong, which I highly doubt it because you got a lot of money on the line and skin in the game, then the fine comes off of their deposit. And at the end of the rental, if they do nothing and everything is great and fantastic, you give them back their money. But again, it needs to be between the owner and code and the city, not the city saying you cannot.
Mm-hmm. Not
So
just making it illegal
No,
altogether.
it's one blanket policy does not work. That is not. It's like a dictatorship, and we don't live in we don't live in North Korea with Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
We live in the United
So
States.
how do
I think that if you were to really measure the amount of people that go to many cities throughout the world, not only Miami, but any city, whether it be Rio de Janeiro, Porto, Portugal, San Francisco, California, where the platforms were invented, it is enhanced and increased because there are many families that they just don't feel comfortable in a hotel because they have little children, or they may have an elderly parent that is just can't be wheeled around up and down elevators and that kind of thing, and then dealing with the parking of the cars, going up to garages and valet and all that. That mindset has changed so much that I really think that this platform has given us a tremendous opportunity to have great future residents, people that come and rent my house or your house or someone else's, and then they fall in love with Miami Beach, and they become the next generation of people that say, I had such a great time when I was a kid or with my family that I want to live in Miami Beach at some point, or they come back because they had such a great experience. Absolutely, because not everybody is a one size fits all. This idea that everybody wants to go hang out on Ocean Drive and hear that racket or be around that environment is not accurate. There's a lot of people that are just families and they want to come hang out like they do in their own home, and they just want a peaceful surrounding and to go to the beach on their own time and go to Publix and pull their car up to the front of their house and unload their groceries and cook home cooked meals in their house. So yeah, definitely it's impacting the the environment, and not only that, but when you get into crazy high season where the hotels are charging astronomical amounts, this is a much more affordable alternative for people that might be able to afford a house split over 6 persons, but they would not be able to afford to take out 3 hotel rooms. My experience with home sharing platforms has been tremendous. I started using Airbnb when the platform came out, as mentioned earlier. I've been to Shenzhen, China, Hong Kong, China, which is next door. I've done Argentina, San Francisco, Carmel, so many different places, and I've had the most incredible experiences because I get to interface with neighbors, the host or super host or people that work with me to bring me in and check me in or show me around. They always tell me the greatest restaurants, the greatest places to go, the greatest sightseeing, things that I would never hear of from concierges, because most of the time the concierge in the hotel doesn't really live in the neighborhood. They live elsewhere and they travel in, so they don't know the real local scene. And actually most of the places that I've gone back to them, and then I actually have like a personal relationship with people, and it's been phenomenal. It's opened my mind. It's been an education and a cultural experience for me, and I will continue using it until the day I'm no longer here to use it. Sure. Some other sharing platforms that I've used, really funny situation that Uber and Lyft were available in Miami and Miami Beach, and one night I took an Uber up to Fort Lauderdale to go to a Mexican restaurant, and I ended up on Las Olas, had some drinks, and I needed to get back to Miami Beach, to my house here. And when I went to Uber, it was not available in Fort Lauderdale. So I ended up by myself having to catch a taxi back late at night. It cost me a fortune. I didn't feel comfortable, and it was a very unfortunate situation. I did not like it. It made me feel very upset and disappointed, and I wrote a letter to the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. I told him, listen, as a business guy and a person that has disposable income, I will no longer go to Fort Lauderdale as a result, because they blocked my experience from the ride-sharing platform. And he actually I was surprised. I got a letter back from the mayor saying that they had reopened up the Uber experience because he got a lot of complaints about it. So that was a real experience that happened, and it definitely changed my dynamic. And now I will go back there because it's easy. The benefits that home sharing provides to potential tourists are numerous. The ones that come to my mind is that not everybody, including myself, wants to be in a hotel. I don't enjoy the hotel experience. It's okay, I can deal with it, but I prefer the experience of the home sharing platforms because it is a much more personal, vested interest of the people that are doing the business. Mm-hmm. The experiences of the knowledge of the area, being able to share very cool sites to see, the host having a drink with me, talking to me about their family, about their dog, about their life experiences, sharing, just breaking bread with people. It is unmatched on any level. And I think for me, the home sharing platform has almost been as much as my formal education as a graduate in graduate school. I feel that my traveling experience through this form of travel has it is an education in itself, and it's been phenomenal for me. Realize that we're not in a dictatorship. We live in the United States. We're not in a country that has such a need for government overstepping, and I really feel that the city of Miami Beach should take a look at this situation and realize that we as homeowners are responsible. We are capable of policing ourselves. Yes, I believe that there should be a level of governance in such that there's a fine per day in the event of overstepping and not following the rules, which we as owners can collect from potential renters, and that in the event there's a problem, we take care of it and we are fined, and the fine is taken from the guest. But I really think that when it's managed that way, the problems will diminish. The upside of sharing platforms today, we can see the values of Airbnb and, let's say, Lyft and Uber. Lyft and Uber don't own one vehicle, and their worth is greater than the 4 largest automobile manufacturers in the world. Mm-hmm. So Airbnb saying we want to allow short-term on home away or VRB or whatever, it's the wrong approach in today's world. We need to be more proactive in finding a solution that allows a sustainable, meaning mm-hmm. responsible and accountable form of dealing with this. Not, we cannot. Yeah. That is not acceptable. It has to be something that the city says, we the owners have to be responsible enough to collect the money and put down the policies and the rules of the neighborhood and the rules of the home, so it doesn't invade on another person's property or mm-hmm. privacy. And then everybody can live harmoniously together. Absolutely. These rules have definitely hurt me on many levels because, every year we get an increase in taxes. Every year the city employees look for increases in their personal income, and they look for ways to fund new things, but through property taxes. And as you mature in age, there is one thing that is a reality, is that your income potential goes down, not up. So this way of utilizing these sharing platforms to be able to generate supplemental income or additional revenue stream to pay your taxes and to pay your expenses and pay your roof repairs, that helps us to be able to pay for these fees. And it has hurt because I haven't been able to do it because I know it's illegal and I don't want the fine. And as a responsible person, I'm not going to break the law, but yet I feel like my rights, my constitutional rights and my rights as a property owner have been violated. And I really think that the city of Miami Beach needs to relook at this very closely and reconsider their position and realize that we can police ourselves with some rules and regulations and make this happen in a sustainable way for everybody, so that the city collects more income as a result of the visitors through these sharing platforms, because the sharing platforms collect their fees and the resort taxes and the tax. And in addition, we get more traffic of people coming to the city that will become future residents that visit the retail establishments, shop in the stores, go to the restaurants, go to the bars, and do it in a sustainable manner. And not only that, but probably the people that use the sharing platforms will also be safe people that will come and use a Uber or a Lyft to go to the bars and not create more traffic or a DUI or a problem within these places, because they're sharing oriented people. They use Uber as a way to move themselves. One of the largest is the Airbnb, and I know they do a great job vetting the tenants or the renters that are doing Airbnb, and they have a very strict policy about vetting the potential renters and also being able to understand who it is that's coming. You know who it is, you have a chance to interact with them. The renter tells you what is the purpose of their visit. There's many people that are coming to visit their family members that they don't want to be in a hotel because they want to rent a room from you because their parents live down the street, or they have a sick family member in the hospital, or there's a wedding that they want to go to. I mean, these are not, this is the funny thing that I see that has happened, is that everybody has basically just said this is a one-size-fit-all. Anybody that does a short-term rental is just here to party. And that is absolutely not accurate. We in South Miami have another place that we do. My girlfriend is doing active short-term rental on Airbnb. We've never had an incident, never had the cops in the year and a half that we've been doing this. Never had any problems with the people. It's been great. We've made lots of friends. And we have given a great service to the community, in that we've helped people find the coolest places to go, great restaurants, help them with family issues that, like I said, sick people, births of children, you name it. I've experienced all kinds of people talking to the guests that have stayed at her house. It's been great.